Ever find yourself scrolling through those picture-perfect relationships online and thinking, wait, is everyone living in a rom-com except me?
Haha. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Today, we're diving into a question that's probably crossed everyone's mind at some point.
Hmm.
Is monogamy, that whole one true love idea, is it actually, like, natural?
Right?
Or is it more of a societal expectation, like a script we've all been handed?
It's a big one.
It is a big one. And to get to the bottom of it, we're going to be comparing traditional monogamy with the world of open and alternative relationships.
Sounds fascinating.
I'm really excited to dig into this. So when we talk about monogamy being the norm,
Yeah.
it really does feel like it's everywhere, especially here in the West.
Yeah, it's woven into everything. Our
Mhm.
stories, our laws, our whole understanding of what love and relationships are supposed to look like. It's interesting.
What's
It's
that?
easy to forget how much our culture influences our views on this.
It's like we're almost expected to find the one. But why is that? Like, what is it about monogamy that's made it so, I don't know, universal? Is it really hardwired into us? Or is there more to the story?
Well, a lot of arguments in favor of monogamy tend to center around two main things: evolutionary biology and the social benefits.
Okay, so like survival of the fittest, passing on your genes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, some evolutionary biologists suggest that, historically speaking, monogamy may have helped increase paternal certainty.
Right, because then you know for sure your kids are yours.
Exactly, and that led to better allocation of resources, better chances of survival for the kids, that sort of thing.
So it's like a self-perpetuating cycle, promoting the continuation of the species.
Exactly.
But it can't just be about genetics, right? I mean, there's got to be more to it than that.
Where you've also got the whole social side of things.
Yeah.
Monogamy offers a lot of stability, clear inheritance lines, a more straightforward way of raising children.
Makes things easier from a logistical standpoint, for sure.
Exactly. It simplifies a lot of things in life.
And let's not forget about the emotional aspect.
Hmm.
I mean, for a lot of people, that idea of having a partner who's completely devoted to them,
Yes,
that's like the ultimate form of security and validation.
absolutely. It can foster a very deep sense of trust and intimacy.
Right. So, okay, monogamy, it's got a pretty strong foothold,
Hmm.
both historically and socially.
Mm.
But we can't ignore the fact that there are more and more people out there who are like, you know what, that doesn't quite fit for me.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really interesting, right? This whole world of open and alternative relationships.
Exactly. And it's so important to remember that non-monogamy, that's a really broad term.
Okay.
We're talking about a whole spectrum of different relationship styles, each with their own values, their own agreements, their own way of doing things.
Yeah. Okay. So like polyamory, for example.
Uh-uh.
I'll be honest, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one.
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, polyamory is about having multiple loving relationships, all consensual, all happening at the same time. Everyone knows about everyone else, and it's all very much out in the open.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty different from like swinging, right? Which I understand to be more about like casual sexual experiences outside of the primary relationship.
You got it, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So very different approaches there. And then you've got open relationships, which seem to fall somewhere
Yeah, open relationships are really diverse.
in between. Or is it its own thing?
Yeah, they can be all over the map. I guess the common thread is that there's some degree of non-exclusivity, whether it's emotional, physical, or a combination of both.
Okay, so it really comes down to what works for the individuals in that relationship.
Exactly. It's all about communication, setting boundaries, and figuring out what works best for them.
Wow. Okay, so this whole conversation around alternative relationship styles, it really throws a wrench into that classic nature versus nurture debate, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, are we wired for one specific type of relationship? Or is it way more fluid than that?
It's a question without an easy answer. Our biology definitely influences our desires and how we behave.
Right.
But culture also plays a huge, huge role in shaping what we see as normal or acceptable.
So it's like, even if we do have these innate biological drives, culture is the lens that we're filtering everything through.
Absolutely. Think about the stories we grow up with, the expectations our families have, even the laws surrounding marriage and relationships.
Yeah.
All of these things influence how we view love, commitment, what a successful relationship is supposed to look like.
It's almost like maybe we're born with a certain set of capabilities, but society kind of nudges us in a particular direction.
Mm.
I mean, listening to all this, it makes me think about all those cultural norms around love and relationships that I just accepted,
Hmm.
never really questioned.
And that's exactly the point. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to this.
Right.
What really matters is understanding your own needs, your own values, your own desires in a relationship. Exploring these different relationship models, even if they're not for you, can be so empowering.
It's about being informed.
Yes. It's about having the knowledge to make conscious choices about what feels right for you and for your partners.
And I love that. Knowledge is power, as they say.
100%.
Yeah.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If we were raised with different stories, exposed to a wider range of relationship models from a young age, would our whole understanding of what's natural be completely different?
Wow. Now that's something to think about.
Right.
Food for thought. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive.
Thank you for having me. It was a really insightful conversation.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Until next time, keep those minds open and keep exploring.